Hey guys, so I'm Jennifer. The topic that I chose for this assignment is called Tren So basically what Tren is, it is a gang-related terrorist group that originated from Venezuela, which has spread across multiple states within the United States. It is currently being viewed as a transnational criminal organization. It is a plague upon our communities that rely on fear, violence, to reign terror on hardworking and law-abiding residents. So basically, they focus on human smuggling. So they kidnapped these women and made them do their dirty work, which include distributing their drugs, breaking in theft rings, and many more legal activities against their will. So one of their goals recently is to traffic multiple people and spread them across these different states so that they can have multiple base organizations to operate more easily from. So I've included a map of the 16 states that have currently been invaded by these organizations. As you could tell, it is all the red markings. So, yeah. So how does this affect society? So society is constantly living in fear, worried about their safety and well-being, not only of for themselves but for their family overall. The violence being expressed to gain control over residents from these different states basically is stripping people of their rights and freedom. They're not being treated equally, like they're not getting the protection that the citizens should be receiving. They're being deprived of their property and their freedom of association. So imagine being forced to do things against your will. You're having to commit a crime because your life basically depends on it and you have little to no choice because these gang members are threatening you with these violent acts, these threats, these promises. So you literally have to say yes because you're no longer in charge of your life once you interact with these organizations. So how can people live a normal life if they're constantly living in fear of coming across these type of people who could care less about your life? So these people mainly have an objective, so they will not let anybody or anything stand in their way. So Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So I chose Article 20, which states no one may be compelled to belong to an association. Article 17, which states no one shall be deprived of his property. Article 5, which states that no one should be subjected to torture or to cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. Article 3, which states everyone has a right to life, liberty, and the security of a person. And Article 4, which states that no one should be held in slavery or servitude. So basically, I feel like all these things that have in common is that each person is being deprived of taking control of their own lives, like making actions that they believe are right. Because once you come across these terrorist gang members, you no longer have control of your life. You're being forced to participate in these actions, and if you don't, you will most likely get killed. Moving on, I I decided to write all of the NASW Code of Ethics because I feel like they all have a way of interacting with this topic. Because if you think about it, the six ethics are service, social justice, dignity and worth of a person, importance of human relationships, integrity, and competence. So basically, if we think back to all the women that are being trafficked from this organization, like they're basically being victims. They basically are the victims. So let's say that the government, law enforcement, whoever it may be, they caught a specific base within one of these states. So when we are looking at the victim sides, as a social worker, you have to take these steps to ensure that your client is on the right track to becoming a better version of himself. You need to set your goals for your client, which is you providing a service, and social justice would be you fighting for the rights that your client couldn't have back then while she was being trafficking. Excuse me. dignity and worth of a person. I feel like as a social worker, you would have to remind that you have to remind the victim that they are worth something, that they are a person at the end of the day, that yes, what they might have gone through was traumatic, but it was just a step back to what their full potential could be in the future. Importance of human relationship, I feel like that interacts um in the way that as these victims are receiving care or going through their treatment, they need to work on their relationship skills, because from being trafficked, I feel like they would have lost all trust, and you as the social worker need to work on building those type of skills so that they can feel like they could trust people and not be like paranoid all of the time. And then integrity, I feel like these social workers should keep what they discuss with their clients between them and other professionals in their workplace to help the client. And like comments, I feel like I said, it kind of goes with integrity because you're working um with your coworkers and developing a plan that would be better for your client overall. And social policies related to this issue. So as I was reading on this topic, I learned that in the state of Texas, the governor directed to mobilize strike teams that included multiple law enforcement agencies to pursue the Tren de Aragua gang wherever they operate within the state. So basically, if they were to hear news that this gang was in a specific area, like kidnapping women, selling their drugs, doing whatever they were doing, then these officers had the right to go and investigate and arrest these people that were harming society. There was also different organizations set in place to inform and prevent people from these dangerous gang members. So this included the Department of Homeland Security, Department of State, Department of Justice. They were all working together to track down these members. They were creating routes, like they were investigating the routes that they have previously had busted them on, and they were trying to implement future goals to prevent them from increasing or growing within other states. So my discussion questions for y'all would be, nowadays multiple crimes are happening worldwide, but which ones would society feel more danger in? My bad. But which ones put society's safety in danger every day? Like, which ones we think is more urgent to take care of? My second question would be, do these victims who are still being considered immigrant, because take in mind they were being kidnapped from their home countries or wherever they were being kidnapped from, they were still be considered immigrants. So do you think that those victims should receive the justice wherever they were rescued from? Like, say they were rescued within the United States, do you think that they should be receiving the justice here? And if not, do you think that they would receive the justice that they would from their home country? And my third question is, what do you think is the worst crime so far? Trafficking human, trafficking drugs, or carrying out violent acts against others, or even killing people over properties? And then these are my reference. Thank you.